Hi everybody, welcome back to PJ Knits. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today is the day after Christmas, December 26, 2018, and I'm Penny from Central Illinois, and I am a knitter, a blogger, and a YouTube podcaster. How's that? Welcome back to those who have been here before. I appreciate so much you stopping by, and I'm hoping that you will go out and tell your friends about PJ Knits and that we can get some more subscribers. It has been a month since I last podcast, and I had great intentions to really do a couple of podcasts in the last month, but things just kind of sort of happened. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that to start with. First of all, on December 4th, we got the call very early in the morning that our new granddaughter was born, baby Sweet Pea, on Tuesday, December 4th. And so what we did is we hopped in the car as we were planning, and we went over there to meet her. And while we were over there, and Mom and Dad were in the hospital with the baby Sweet Pea, we watched our two other grandchildren. I transported them to school. We got to go to our first ever school Christmas program because we were there after she was born, and just had a great time while we were there and enjoyed that being a part of all of that. So that was a lot of fun. While we were at the Christmas program, I sat in front of a lady who had a very hard cough, and when I came home the following week, I developed a case of bronchitis and laryngitis. I had woke up on Wednesday, that following Wednesday, with no voice, which did not come back until Sunday late, and then I went back to work and probably should have stayed home a couple extra days, but I felt like I should get back because it was the last week before a long holiday, and so that's why I haven't podcasted. And now we're the December 26th. The house is quiet. The tall guy went back to work today, so I have this time I thought I'd take advantage of it to do a podcast and just kind of give you the updates of what's happened in the last month here in Central Illinois with us. We still have a couple of Christmas celebrations to do. We're going to do one this weekend with my niece who will be in town. And then sometime in January, we will head back to Iowa, and we will do our Christmas over there with the kids and grandkids and have them open their presents that are over there. My other son went last weekend, but I just felt like I should not. I still had a cough. I still have a little bit of residual throatiness going on, if you want to call that. And so I just felt like I should stay away from the baby a little while longer. But so we have that to look forward to. So anyway, that's what's been happening here. I hope you all had a great Christmas. I worked retail for about 13 years until the kids were born. And since they were born, I stopped working at a major department store in the buying office. And so I do not go out on the day after Christmas. In fact, I try not to go out the day of the week after Christmas. And just because of that, because as a buyer of a department store department, we had to be back out in the stores the day after Christmas. And so it's just a lot of fun now, ever since the kids were born, to just be able to stay home and enjoy the week. I am very fortunate at the university that I work for right now. I work for the University of Illinois, that we get this last week off from work. And so I am taking advantage of the time this week. It is all about knitting for me. And of course, when I get done here, I'm going to put away my Christmas decorations and get ready in the mood for the new year. And after I get that done, do a bit of cleaning, and then I'm going to sit down, catch up on some podcasts, and knit for me. So anyway, that's kind of what's on tap for me this week. And it's beautiful in central Illinois today. We've had some unseasonable weather. Yesterday I think it was like 49 degrees, and today the sun's shining, and I think it's going to get up there in the mid 40s again. So we cannot complain for the last week of December. Unfortunately, we just keep waiting to see when winter's really going to dump on us, but we'll deal with that as we always do. And because winter will eventually come, I have sweaters to wear. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my finished objects. This one is called Pickpocket and is by the Rainey Sisters. And Susan and Sally are friends of mine from knitting camp, and they put this pattern out before Thanksgiving, around Thanksgiving, and I was lucky to be able to get a copy of it and knit it, and I am just loving this sweater. The yarn that I used, if you recall, for those who have watched before, is Kenzie by Haiku, and I love this yarn. This was a dream to work with. It has a little bit of a halo on it, as you can kind of see, and is just so much fun to work. And the pink that I used for the sleeves and for my rabbit hole pocket, which was so much fun, just looks like velvet when you're knitting on it, but it's truly, it's not. It is, the makeup base of it is merino, nylon, angora, alpaca, and silk noil. And I cannot say enough about this yarn. I loved it. And I also love knitting this pattern. This is so much fun. I am normally not, I kind of shied away from drop sleeves these days because they don't look great on me, but I really liked this one. I made some adaptations to it because I have such a fat arm from down to about the elbow, so I did some adaptations on the sleeves here a bit, and then ended back up on the long cuff, which I enjoyed. And I learned something new from the pattern on how to bind off, and I really liked the bind off. Nothing super new, but just a new thought process that was included in the pattern. So I enjoyed doing that. And it on the side, it has a split hem, and you can do, if you want, this. I could put one of those hooks in there to hook it together, but I just really like the way this fits. It's a good length on me, and I pretty much follow the pattern as is. So again, this is Pickpocket, and I'm looking forward to wearing that on a future episode as well. So that was a lot of fun. That was something that I was knitting on in between some of the other things that I had been doing. A second finished object that I had that I don't have in person to show you because it was Baby Sweet Pea's stocking. And if you remember on this particular stocking, what I did is I provisionally cast on, because we did not know what her name was going to be until that morning. And so I provisionally cast on the stocking. Right under the candy canes, and then I proceeded to work all the way down, and I finished the toe, and then I took it over, and then on after we found out what the name is, on the second night we were there, I went back and I finished and put the name on it, and got up early the next morning and blocked it. And then my oldest granddaughter got to hang it up with all their other stockings, and I had for them, I had made my daughter-in-law, if you remember, I had made my daughter-in-law stocking for her birthday. I gave it to her before the baby was born. And so now they all have hand-knit stockings. My son got one last year. So they all have hand-knit stockings this year, and that was fun to get that done in time. So that's really what I had been doing, is a lot of knitting for the baby. I did a blanket and the stocking, of course, and then intermittently I was working on that. And then I had an intention this year to do hand knit stockings for my son my other son and his fiance. She is very knitworthy, and she is a Harry Potter fan. And so a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago, at Stitches Midwest, I bought some yarn at one of the booths. I bought yarn from Bumblebee Acres Farm, and she had Harry Potter inspired sock yarn. And so I bought 2 at that time, and I thought, wouldn't that be fun for this year to do them each a pair of Harry Potter stockings, because the fiance is such a fan. And so I cast on hers, and I finished it. I finished one, so there's a half of an object done for her. And this colorway is Godric Gryffindor. It's Harry Potter inspired, out of Coquette sock. And so I only got this one done, and I was hopeful to have the pair done. And then I just, all of a sudden last weekend, I said, I'm done knitting for everybody else. I am concentrating on putting a moratorium on knitting for other people right now, and it's going to be all about me until the 2nd of January. And so I decided that what I would do is next year, this would be, they will be married in August, and so next year, this will be their first official year as a married couple, and they will get their Harry Potter socks next year. I had just a moment where I thought, because we're not getting together with them until for another couple of days, I had a wild thought that I could cast on her the second sock and get it done, and maybe give at least her sock. And then, better part of reasoning, wishy-washiness, if you call it, whatever, I said, no, that is just not happening. And so I am putting those back on the back burner, and that will be their next year's stockings stuffers. And I have his yarn also. It is Salazar Slytherin, also by Bumblebee Acres Fiber Farm. And so these will be next year. I'm just done with the Christmas knitting. Officially, not really. And I'll tell you why, not really. Isn't that funny? I wonder if there's everybody else is like me. I am so wishy-washy about my knitting when I finish a project, as to what I want to do next. Are you like that? I'm like that. I think as you concentrate so much on a couple of projects that when you're done, you do kind of sit back and do, the sigh of relief. But then it's like, what's next? What do I want to concentrate on next? And I have a lot of things to concentrate on. But anyway, so I am officially done with the thought of Christmas socks for the happy couple this year. However, I do have some Christmas knitting that I will have to start, but I am refusing to start on this until January 2nd, and it is being housed in my Molly Klein design bag for Christmas. This is my Knitmas project. And Knitmas, this is my second year doing Knitmas. It is part of the Loopin' About Ravelry group, and we have been assigned secret partners to knit for. And in the group, we received those, oh gosh, maybe in December. I cannot remember when we received them, but anyway, I received my name. There was a questionnaire in the group that everybody fills out, so you get a feel for their wants and what they don't like, what they would like, colors that they like. And then we receive our partners, and then we knit for them. And then by February 1st, we pop the project in the mail along with any goodies that we pick out. And so on January 2nd, that's what I'm going to cast on. I am giving myself until January 2nd. Again, I said it's all about me knitting right now. So that will be on the needles in the new year. So those are a couple of things that kind of just clean up the whole knitting and Christmas thought process. But on last Friday, I met up with my friends Debbie and Becky. We had lunch together and we exchanged Christmas presents. And don't you just love exchanging presents with knitting friends? I appreciate everything I get from everybody at Christmas time. But, knitters they just get you, don't they? They just get you. And so we had a great time opening gifts. And I just want to show you a few of the knitting related items that I got from them. These are so much fun. This is a pair of new little slipper socks or socks that I got from Becky. And I have not used them yet because I've been waiting to podcast about them. But look, there's the little sheep, and on this side, there's yarn, and he's knitting or she's knitting. And so I'm looking forward to wearing those now. And they have this luscious fleecy lining, soft and scrumptious. So that was from Becky. And then also from Becky, I received 2 skeins of yarn, and I'm dying to figure out what to do with this. This is going to be so much fun for spring, so many springy colors. This is a La Jolla yarn from Ba. The colorway is Island Sorbet, and I have 2 skeins of that. Is that not just gorgeous? That is going to be so much fun to knit with. I'm looking forward to that. A little speckle in there. And as always, if you all have an opinion as to what I should knit on with these, please do. Please let us know. Let me know in the Ravelry group under PJ Knits. We have a Ravelry group, and I'd love for you to give me some ideas. 2 skeins, and they're 400 yards each. Superwash merino. Looking forward to them. It's going to be some sort of a shawl or wrap. Loving that. And then from my friend Debbie, this is so much fun. We each got one of these, and I love to write notes, as I am kind of known for in a couple of friends. And there we go. No problema. Paper and a pencil. And so isn't that fun? There's so many llama inspired things out right now. So anyway, that was cool. And then I was also in the shop the Wednesday before Christmas. Pardon me. The residual from what I've got is sometimes I get that little cough and I just can't do anything with it. But anyway, from Debbie, I saw these in the shop. The color caught me, but I'm like, no, I'm not buying anything for me. This is by Gleaner, and this is so cool. A nice travel packet that will go with me when I travel. It has scissors and yarns and button tin and a seam ripper, measuring tape, and something else. Can't remember what that is. And on the other side, a travel gleaner. And I just love my big gleaner, but and I thought a lot about buying a travel gleaner just to have. And this will come in so handy for the wedding next August. So I got that. Is that not cool? And I'm sure your yarn shop carries these as well, but in the Peoria area, Fiber Universe does as well. That's my local yarn shop. So anyway, I got that, and then one of the greatest surprise that I have, Debbie and I have been talking about the perfect knitting bag, and to take big enough to put a sweater in, something that stands up, something that has pockets, a decent strap on it, and Debbie came up with, I think she's got it. The perfect bag. Is that not adorbs? Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And on this side, a zip pocket that my pattern does fit in. And there's a zip pocket on the inside as well. Look at that. Is that not the cutest thing? Don't you just love it? This is my new go-to knitting bag. She nailed it. Isn't that cool? The coolest. The coolest. And you may hear some background noise here because it's garbage day. And it's not supposed to be garbage day because they didn't work yesterday, but I think they're working double time, so we didn't put our garbage out. Sorry, tall guy. I was wrong. But anyway, that was the Christmas gifts that I received from my knitting friends, and that was so much fun. And then one other little surprise that I got from my friend Kendra, the early in December, a local shop over in Bloomington Normal area, Le Mouton Rouge, La Knitterie Mouton Rouge, I believe that's its name. I will correct myself in the show notes. But anyway, they had hand-dyed holidays, and I was unable to go because family was in town, and we had a great time with them. But she came back and brought me a Pom Pom. And so that's going to go on a future hat. Isn't that the coolest? I'm looking forward to that. Thanks, Kendra. And they're beautiful, just beautiful. Pom-poms are all the rage now, and so much fun. Knitting friends, they're the greatest. Okay, so what's up? What's on the needles? Well, right now I am so close to having my turtle dove finished, and I don't have it. I am just inches away from having that done. I didn't think that I would have enough yarn, and it looks like I'm going to have plenty, and I've tried it on before it's fully bound off, and it's going to fit perfect. It's a free pattern by Espace Tricot. God and everybody is knitting it right now, and I've had mine on the needles quite some time, and so I'm hoping to show that to you in a future episode. I'm looking forward to doing that. So we're going to run right into now what the mailman brought. I love a good mailman day. And so one of the things that when I was buying some yarn for some friends for Christmas, on Instagram, Vivid Yarn Studio, Julia Strangeland out of Canada had posted some pictures of some yarn, and I just, in a whim, I had to have this. And the reason it's in a whim is I will tell you. Look at this. Look at this yarn. Is that not gorgeous? These are called Moonstone. And this one is a superwash merino. This one is the Kid Mohair Mulberry Silk. And the thing I loved about her post is that she said, this would be great in Birds of a Feather. And when Debbie and I were on our way back from Florida, we stopped in at Nashville Yarn Shop. And while I was there, they had a Birds of the Feather knit up in this yarn. And so I bought it. And the reason I bought it was very, very, very much like the pattern. And that's why I bought that yarn. But then, when I saw this, I was like, I have to have it. So there may be two birds of the feathers in my future. Or we may do a giveaway in the new year for the other birds of feather. So that's what the mailman brought from Vivid Yarns. Looking forward to casting that on as well. And then starting today, Corey of iRock Knits and Leading Men Fiber Arts are doing a collaboration on a knit along, and it is called the 12 Days of Knitting MCAL. And it is a lace sampler mystery knit along for 12 days following the Christmas holiday. And a clue will be released from December 26th through January 6th with a new lace pattern each day. And because I'm a follower of Corey's, I decided that I wanted to participate in that. So this is another thing I have to do today when I get done here, is I have to go up and start winding some yarns. So I ordered from Leading Men Fiber Arts on their Showstopper Gradient 2 yarn packs for the 12 days. And here's this one. called Ice Ice Baby, and this one, which is Tangelo. Are those not going to be scrumptious together? Maybe I won't get the Christmas decorations down today. Maybe I'll just knit. Cool. Isn't that cool? And so there's still time to join in if you're so inquired to do it. This is going to be some fun knitting after the holiday knitting. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, what's sitting around me left? Oh, let's talk about books and bags. Well, we've already talked about bags. And this is the greatest. This is so much fun. When I go to knitting at Panera's on Saturdays or knit nights on Thursday nights, I will have my bag with me, and a sweater will fit in there, and I can put my pattern in there. I can put in the very bottom, I can put my wallet and my keys. And so if anybody's inclined to try and steal them, they're going to have to go deep for that. So that is the bag in Books and Bags. And then I want to tell you about a book that I bought. We received last year a Barnes & Noble gift certificate from one of our nieces and nephews, and we've held on to it. And when we were over at Iowa last week, a couple weeks ago, well, earlier in the month, I guess, we went shopping while the cleaning ladies were there, and I got some of my Christmas shopping done. And we went to the Barnes & Noble and got some shopping done there. And I have been wanting this book for some time. It is a completely revised and updated version of Vogue Knitting. So I took my gift card and I purchased it. Now, I have to tell you, I got the very, very first one of Vogue Knitting that they ever put out 40 years ago. I requested it as a Christmas present from my mother, and she bought it for me. So I still have it. I'm not giving up my very first edition, but I wanted this one just because it's updated somewhat. I can't give you a good review on it yet, but it covers a lot of things. It covers circular knitting, reading cable charts. It has increases, decreases, tubular cast on, structure of knitting, things that you might need for knitting. Side seam, it talks about pockets, plackets, circular design for dropped shoulders or fitted sleeves, which is something that it has some design elements with it. Circular design with a yoke, cardigan shaping, set-in cap shaping, armhole shaping, body shaping, ribbing, using the Vogue Knitting Design worksheet, picking up stitches, open stitches to an edge, horizontal seams, what to do with an extra stitch at the edge, chart symbols, gauge swatching for knitting in the round, how to do that, understanding garment knitting instructions, circles, chevrons, joining squares, left-handed corner triangles, Mobius knitting, magic loop, double-pointed needles, oh my gosh, shaping and lace, all kinds of things. And so if somebody is a brand new knitter, I think this is a good book for them. It is a little pricey. It's almost $40, but again, I think something great to add to your library. I'm certainly pleased that I got it, and I'm looking forward to really reading it and giving some time on it. So that is books and bags. I just want to talk just a little bit. A segment that we're going to reprise here in PJ Knits is about podcasts and YouTube casts. I am a listener. I am a watcher. I watch a lot of podcasts. I enjoy watching the ones, especially where I get some new ideas or some new patterns that I wouldn't have thought about knitting, or new techniques. And some of them I watch just for entertainment value. And I'm not sure where I fall into that category, but I do enjoy watching YouTube videos on the weekends and late in the evenings because I stay up late. I have regular podcasts that audio podcasts that I listen to in the car to coming home from work. On the way to work, I try to have silence, getting myself ready for the day. But on the way home or on long trips when I'm by myself, I always have an audio podcast that I'm listening to. And it just kind of makes the time go by fast and fun to catch up with people. And you start to feel like you know them. So anyway, I'm just going to highlight a couple of those. I want to talk about podcasts and YouTube podcasts here every episode if I can, and just maybe you go out and give them a try, as you have done me as well. And so I just want to talk about a couple that I've talked about before, but I think as an end of the year, it's very appropriate to talk about these ladies because they're becoming fast friends. And I've met them when we were in Rochester, and we'll see them, most of them again this year. So I just want to tell you about a couple of them. On YouTube, Alicia on Looping About. Alicia is a fun one to watch. She's out in Seattle, and I love watching her knitting, but I also love seeing what she's quilting onto as a previous quilter. It's so fun to see other young people quilting. And so I urge you to give Alicia Lupin About, Lupine, About, on YouTube. And also then Amanda Atlas Knits. Amanda is a wonderful designer of shawls and I think soon to be sweaters down the road. And she has some beautiful shawls that I am such a fan of. I've knitted one of them, and I see a lot of those in my future. She's a great shawl designer, and I think you'd enjoy seeing her podcast as well, and she does some tutorials as well. So give Amanda Atlas Knits a look on YouTube. And then also then on audio is Wrapped in Wool. Becky, I listen to her. She is amazing. I love listening to all the things. She is such a sock knitter, and she has been putting out the socks in the last year like you would not believe. But I just really, I enjoy listening. I love Becky. I love your accent too. Let's be honest. It's fun. It's wonderful to listen to you. And so I encourage you to look Wrapped in Wool up and enjoy that one. So final things I want to tell you about. Thank you to everybody who participated in 30 Days of Knits in November. It was a wonderful month of seeing people's knits. I chose two winners. Alicia off of the Ravelry group won, and then Becky, Wrapped in Wool podcast. She won for posting every day on Instagram, and gave me some great ideas. It was a fun being able to see everybody's knits and posting on both Ravelry and Instagram. Thank you everybody who did that. I got a lot of good feedback. Some friends on Facebook were like, hey, don't stop. But it was fun, and so I hope to do something like that again in the future. Alicia and Becky, your prize boxes are on their way. With the Christmas holiday, they went out right before the Christmas weekend, so you should be getting those in the next week or so. I hope you enjoy the little goodies that are in there, and thank you so much to both of you for posting and for playing along, and for everybody who did on the Ravelry group. So next up, I'm going to do a New Year's video that will post on New Year's Day. Looking forward to that, just to talk about goals and things that I want to do in the new year. I so appreciate, again, you all stopping by. I am Penny J on Ravelry, PJ Knits on Instagram. We have a PJ Knits Ravelry group, and I have a knitting blog at www.blogspot.pjknits. or www.pjknits.blogspot.com. I'll put that in the show notes as well, and would love for you to stop by there. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I would very much appreciate that. And I also, please tell your friends. I'd love to have them stop by and give us a look. And I hope you all are having a great week if you're back to work. I'm sorry, and if you're not, enjoy your week leading into the holidays. Have a great New Year's Eve. Be safe out there and have fun. And in the meantime, until next time, knit on with confidence and hope. Thanks. Bye.